When it comes to the Note series from Samsung, there is one thing in particular that makes it stand out from the crowd. We, of course, with a flagship from Samsung, expect the absolute best hardware they can chuck at a phone, from the screen and the cameras, the best chipsets, at least in Snapdragon markets right now. But there's one thing that it has that the competitors like Apple, Huawei, Oppo, and others don't have in their real flagship phones, which is that S Pen. Samsung has kept on to the S Pen for years and years and refused to let it go in the Note series. And earlier on this year, we heard from Samsung leaker Ice Universe that the S Pen was in for some upgrades and some better features overall. We were, however, clueless as to what exactly those upgrades would be with the S Pen. Would it have new features? Would it just get better or more robust? Well, it looks like we have our very first leaked spec on the S Pen now. This was from, again, Ice Universe, who sent out this very short tweet with 3 characters, 9ms, which stands for 9 milliseconds. 9 milliseconds, then, we can assume, is the improved latency or feedback speed of the S Pen. So the shorter the latency, the better, and now we can assume that the latency tested by Samsung with the new S Pen is only 9 milliseconds. Just to put that into some context though, with the competitor to this, which is the Apple Pencil, and the latency on the Apple Pencil with the iPad is also 9 milliseconds. This isn't an entirely fair comparison as the Apple Pencil is much bigger and it only works on the iPad. There is no iPhone support for the Apple Pencil right now. Also, there are no concrete figures as to the latency of the current S Pen, but it's assumed to be around about 15 milliseconds or maybe a bit more than that. So definitely not up to the Apple Pencil, but this new S Pen, we can assume now, will be right up there. So 9 milliseconds latency. Also in Samsung news, we get these images posted online of the cases made for both the Note 20 and the Note 20 Ultra. And it shows something that's actually quite surprising to me, and that is just how big the camera bump is on the Note 20 Ultra. We have seen some renders based off leaked CAD drawings, but you can never really tell how big it is because there's no reference point. But now we can see really just how big that camera bump is on the Note 20 Ultra. It seems more or less the same size as the bump in relation to the body as the S20 Ultra. And if you think about it, that actually does make sense. They're apparently using the HM1 image sensor, same as the S20 Ultra, and also a periscope lens in there as well, which is big and bulky. Not to mention they are also adding an extra sensor there, maybe a laser autofocus to help with all of those issues. So yeah, this is going to be a big camera bump on this phone and much bigger than I was thinking. If we look at the Galaxy Note 20's camera bump, it's much smaller. It's also shallower as well. And it looks way more like we're getting on the S20 Plus, for example, which again makes sense because it's expected to have a very similar, if not the same camera setup. But also in Samsung news regarding that camera, specifically on the Note 20 Ultra, well, it looks like confirmed now that that space zoom, the 100 times space zoom, is gone. Another tweet by Ice Universe seemingly confirming it for good now. 100x, pretty much anything over 50x did just get really blurry and it wasn't useful, couldn't really do anything with it. So hopefully they're really concentrating on that 0 to 50 times, and in the S20 Ultra anything up to about 30 times was still really good, and I hope they keep that quality as well in the Note 20 Ultra. Even though the sensor is a little bit different, it looks like we're going to get some good quality still, and no 100x space zoom for the Note 20 Ultra. As you can see, the leaks regarding the Note 20 series are just dripping out every day now. Really specific details about all the features and the hardware. So that's a great thing, and there'll be way more in the coming weeks. But that is it for today's video though. All your Samsung news. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.